Hello and welcome to Ask Bellco. This month we're joined by Jamie Slavin, Bellco's mortgage sales manager, to discuss buying and selling in a red-hot real estate market. Jamie, welcome back.
Thanks, Jack.
It's always so good to see you. Well, you just heard me say it. It's a super competitive market, and I feel like just purchasing a home is like impossible. Yeah. So what are some tips for buyers out there? What can we do to get ourselves ahead a little bit?
Yeah, so I think that what it really comes down to is it's a two-phased approach. And I think that the first phase is planning and preparation, right? And that comes down to knowing and understanding your credit, knowing and understanding your finances, and knowing and understanding the area that you think you want to live. Mm-hmm. The second piece of that is process. So that's when you're in the fray of the market and you have to just, you're out there seeking that home that really is going to fit you and your family the best, and then you make your offer and potentially go to contract.
That makes sense. So that first phase, planning and preparation, I think is what you're doing. Planning and preparation, how long should I give myself for that?
Well, it's going to be a little bit different for everybody, and I think that's one of the things that we've really started to discover in talking so much, right, Jack? Yeah. Is this can be anywhere from, let's call it a week, all the way out to 2 years.
Wow!
Right? It's understanding. Do I have any skeletons in my closet around credit that I might need to clean up or clear out? Does my job history and my address history support for the last 2 years of me getting the best terms and conditions that might be out there in the marketplace? Have I adequately saved and prepared not only for the down payment and the transactional costs, but maybe some of the deferred maintenance items that might come up after I become the homeowner?
And when we say deferred maintenance items, we're talking about things that you might not notice or see there when you purchase a home that then might kind of be a surprise a little bit down the road, like needing to replace some fixtures or something like that. Am I getting that?
Fixtures, water heater. Let's say that you went in and you did an inspection and everything was fine, but now you're finding that maybe you have a mice issue, or
right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Which could pop up, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And those things need to be mitigated, and you have to have some.
You got to have some sort of funding to take care of that. I feel like when you buy a home, especially if you've come from renting, you're used to, with an issue like that, you pick up the phone and call the landlord. But when you buy a house, you're the landlord, right? Mm-hmm. It's your responsibility now, so you kind of got to. Are there resources for people? Because we've talked about how, a lot of times with new home buyers, it's the nobody told me this was going to be a part of it. Mm-hmm. Is there a place where you can go where people will tell you?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question, and one that I find shocking that we don't do a better job at, right? Yeah. So Bellco.org has a number of different resources, not only in the way of some tools and calculators to show how much you might be able to qualify for, what the prevailing rate of interest might be, but also some educational components. We've got a thing on our website that's called Money Smarts, and whether you're looking at a mortgage or an auto loan or even a credit card, you can find out the detailed information that'll help arm you to go out and be successful as you shop for those items.
Now, this Money Smarts thing on the website, is that like kind of like videos that you can sit and watch, like similar to what we're doing, or?
So similar, but it's users can go in there a la carte. Specifically to mortgage, it's an animated sort of piece that walks you through what the process looks like, what some of these components are that we're talking about here today.
Yeah.
So it's a way to do a deep dive without having to necessarily go and interface with a branch or a person. Mm-hmm. Now, we certainly have those resources available, and we'd love for members and non-members alike to come in and ask us those sorts of questions, because we want to figure out the best way to help them along the path. But for those that maybe aren't interested in that, they can check it out on the web.
Do it in the privacy of their own home, and then once they feel like they got a better handle on it, maybe then they can come in and answer questions or ask questions.
And then I would say the National Association of Realtors. They've got a number of different pieces on their website that are very helpful in both the buying and selling of real estate.
That's great. You and I have talked before about how I'm a renter. currently. So a lot of this mortgage, like the terms and the jargon and stuff, it really just kind of it gets into my head, and it's a little kind of confusing to me. So what are some ways to kind of make it less confusing, or kind of help me with my decision a little bit?
Sure, along with what we outlined on the web, or being able to stop into any of our 24 metro locations or one out in Grand Junction, we do home buying seminars quarterly for members. We ask that they RSVP, and we talk through all of this stuff. We give individuals a glossary of information to go through some of those jargon terms that they're being told all the time, and really kind of allow our members the greatest opportunity for success as they go out and shop.
I feel like that has got to be just a massive resource, to have a home buying seminar where you can go and you can learn about these things and you can ask these questions. Do these happen in Bellco locations? Or?
So we've mixed it up. We've tried it at Bellco locations. We've tried them at offsites. For as relevant and topical as this information is, we would love to see some more attendance around it. We know that this is an item that is vital to every Coloradan, not just Bellco members, but affordable housing is it's a big topic today. I mean, if you can't pick up a newspaper or look at a website without hearing about it specific to Colorado.
Yeah. So. Okay, so we've talked a bit about the buying side. Let's kind of flip it a little bit here and talk about the selling. It's a hot market. We've talked about how there's only inventory for about a month.
1 month.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. So if I'm a seller, how do I take advantage of that and make sure I'm prepared?
Yeah. So just real quick to hit on the point that you just brought up. So you said, and we've talked about it before, 1 month of supply.
Yeah.
Right. A healthy home market has 6 months. So there's definitely an imbalance in the marketplace. So for sellers, what that means is it doesn't mean that you need to have your property in the top condition, let's say. Now, I would submit to you that that's probably a way where you can maximize the profit.
Right. You want it to look and feel as nice as possible, right?
Right. You could do some cosmetic touch-ups and different things like that. And I would say that varying on price point, if you harken back to a couple of Ask Bellcos ago, we talked about $250 to $350 being that most competitive price point.
Right.
Well, in those, you may not have somebody who goes in and does any touch-up work because it is so competitive, right? Whereas in that next phase, maybe you see that they do some minor cosmetics, they stage the home, they're working with an area realtor professional, and that's the way that they're driving and maximizing the profit.
And when you say stage the home, you're talking about kind of making it look like a little bit like houses you see in magazines, not as many like Legos on the living room floor.
Right. Yeah. It's a declutter, and really it's to help present a blank canvas so that new prospective buyer can really see the potential of the home, not the Legos.
Right, yeah, exactly. the lived-in look is out.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so let's combine the two ideas here a little bit. Let's say I want to sell my house in a really hot market like this, but then I want to use that money to buy another house in the same market.
Right.
Do things change there, or am I looking at a different scenario?
Yeah, so that is what they call a contingent sale. So in order to be able to take possession of the new one, I have to do something.
It's contingent.
And in this case, it's sell the old one in order to take possession. So that's the reason for why they call it contingent sale. So what we find, or where people are most successful around this, is maybe, let's say, the seller, the people we're buying the house from, can't get into their newly constructed home for 45 more days. We've got 30 or 45 more days on our lease at our apartment.
Oh, great. Okay.
So we might say, hey, Mr. Seller, we'd like to offer you a 30 or 45-day rent back provision once we close, so that'll honor your timeline and my timeline.
Okay, let me see if I put this rent back provision, because I feel like that's a jargon thing that would trip me up normally. So basically, I've just bought a house. But I haven't moved into it yet. I've still got some time left on my lease. The person in the house I bought, they need to go to the next place. And I'll say, hey, you can hang out for a little bit for a nominal fee.
Right.
You can hang out for a little bit, and I feel like that would really incentivize my offer to a seller, that I'm not, giving them the boot right away.
Exactly, and that's where we're finding people are having a great deal of success. So somebody may be willing to take less of an offer in terms of the monetary amount to it if this time or this rent back provision is there, right? Because it'll allow them to get into what they need to get into without having to worry about, oh, I need to sell my house, move twice, do this, do that. So we're finding that is an area where buyers and sellers are really coming together.
So what I'm hearing in that is that it's important to just keep the lines of communication open, right? Between all, because I feel like that would probably be negotiated between the parties. That's like a normal everyday rent back, thing. That's figured out by the people in that particular sale. Am I right on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I would say that you just said something that I got real excited about, right? So it does all come back to communication. It's making sure that you've got a lender partner who knows what your plan and financial goals are over not only the near term, but the longer term. I think it's finding that area specialist as a realtor, whether you're a buyer or a seller, so that they represent you and your interests to the best of the ability. And then lastly, they're going to have more knowledge about what's happening in that more localized area than anybody else. And so in this market, with as red hot as it is, I think you need all of those things on your side, and including your internal board of directors. And that's...
Ooh, I like this term. Tell me more about this.
Okay, so internal board of directors is, your family, your friends, people who have been through a transaction before that might be a wealth of knowledge to help you avoid some pitfalls that we all seem to make. Right? There's some weird barrier around financial literacy in our lives where we don't like to talk about a lot of things.
I think it's a little intimidating for a lot of people. You know what I mean? I say that I get confused by the jargon, and I start to,
Exactly right. Confused mind says no.
Yeah.
Right? And so transacting a mortgage or purchasing a home, it doesn't happen every single day. So there should be more questions. And financial institutions, realtors, and lenders alike should be welcoming those questions, and because it is something that people in the public they don't do every day.
Right, and it can feel overwhelming, and it can feel like all of the decisions are kind of your decision. So I love the idea of having that internal board of directors to kind of just bounce ideas off of and get some feedback. It feels like that would be really, really essential.
Yeah, hey, Uncle Joe, what did you do when you purchased your home, or what did you find to be the most helpful piece of advice, right? That, along with doing your own research, going out, shopping, finding out who's a great partner in terms of both on the lending side and on the realtor side. I think that is the right recipe to get you to where you want to be.
That makes a lot of sense. And as usual, when you come on the show, things make a bit more sense to me by the time we're done talking. I feel like I did learn a lot, and then I do understand mortgages and the buying and selling in a market like this a bit better. But I still am, a little bit, there's stuff I'm confused about. Any kind of last minute tips or resources? We talked about a few of them on the website that you want to toss out that people can maybe check out?
Aside from Bellco.org, because I think there's a number of great resources there. We've got our branch network that folks could stop in, call, or click and see if they could get there. But then lastly, things like National Association of Realtors. They've got a number of different pieces that are out there to help you get prepared, understand some of those big decisions. They even uncover some terms and things, which are always great. But more than anything, I would just say be curious, have a mindset that's around learning, and just know that it is a process. And even though you may want to buy next weekend, that may or may not be a reality depending on some of the nuance in your scenario.
Right, yeah. Keep that communication open and go out there and learn. You said there is a bit of a barrier around financial literacy, but I feel like we're chipping away at it.
Getting there.
We're chipping away at it on Ask Bellco. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Are you going to come and see us again?
I'd love to.
How about next time?
Yeah.
Love it. Fantastic. I can't wait. Now remember, folks, if you have questions or topics that you want to see on this show, just send them to us on social media using that hashtag AskBellco. Next month, we're going to dig deeper into home ownership and discuss how to make your offer really stand out. We'll see you then.